Hey, it's Matt McGinley. It's Monday, February 8th, 2021. Just here at the official chamber, getting ready to start my day, checking in with all of you good people to see how your weekend was, and to kind of get everybody ready for the second month in first quarter 2021, and being able to position yourself for the type of growth that you need for first quarter in order to be able to meet your annual goals. One of the things with official chamber is I needed to have a way of doing two things for you. First thing is being able to establish a community so that I have the people that can help with your questions available to you. And these are going to be people from anywhere from lawyers, CPAs, to marketing people who have expertise in Google and Facebook, website development, content development. I'll give you the full array of things I'm seeking to get in here. Um, my design is to have this kind of as self-sustaining, but I know I have to lead it for a certain amount of time to kind of bring it together. So I'm willing to do that. I kind of need to do that. It's kind of like what I'm about. The other thing that I need to do is to be able to put published resources, that is video and PDFs, checklists, cheat sheets, templates, things that can kind of get you off and running. And I'm going to explain it in the best way I can today, and then I'll bid you a happy Monday, and maybe I'll be able to check in again at lunchtime. But what I've found with business owners is that business owners are successful. I'm going to start with that. If you're out here today and you have a business and you're running it and you're meeting payroll and you're meeting your expenses, you are successful. I'm not talking about success in the larger scale of where you want to have profits or where you want to have the total organization or your exit strategy. I'm just speaking about on a person to person basis what it takes to be successful. If you're out here with business, you're running a business, you're making ends meet, you're profiting, you're building wealth, wherever you are in that spectrum, you are successful. Okay. Now, the next thing I know about being a consultant and a coach, working as a freelancer, working as a vendor to outsource services. I also know about being an employee. All right. And I had a situation where I was working as a consultant for um, close to 2 years with a company. And I was able to give business advice and things that were counterintuitive to the business owner. So my business consultation um, leadership function was to take the leader aside and say, listen, this is what I see in your business. These are some of the things you need to change. This is why you need to change them. This is how to change them. And this is what effect and benefit it should have on your business. And I would just lay it out. It got to the point where I was doing a lot of these tasks, which were essentially leadership tasks to delegate, but the business owner was not able to successfully delegate. So I went back to the owner and I said, listen, what you have to do is set up more of a structure, reporting hierarchy within your organization, and you need to delegate some of these managerial tasks to other people. So as that started to happen, what ended up ultimately happening is he hired me as an employee. And once he hired me as an employee, he directed me toward marketing. So his only conversation with me from that point forward, where I really had any input and leverage, when I say leverage, I mean influence, was on the topics of marketing, where I had actually advised him on business development and new business development. Um, now I wouldn't say subservient, but I was not able to get across to him the big picture. And I explained, I said, the reason I gave you the idea of putting those managers in place was to make your life easier as a leader and be able to have the same function and development of your business that you wouldn't be able to obtain by yourself. just physically can't do it. And I had spoken to the other partner in the firm to be able to explain this and kind of had some buy-in. However, since the length of time I had been working as a consultant and working so much on them, they had to basically no other choice to either let me go or hire me as an employee. So they hired me as an employee. Um, it was not really my best hour because what ended up happening was I was admonished one day, why aren't you giving me the same advice? I need you as a consultant, not as an employee. And I said, look, I'm giving you the same advice. I'm telling you the same things. I'm trying to lead you in the same direction. However, because I'm an employee here, I don't have the same status with the managers that I used to have. Now I am underneath them because you've relegated me to being marketing. He kind of understood that, but not really. So I ended up going into a couple of $1 million in sales for him. So we developed the way of working this out, and he had a couple of $1 million um, revenue increase. He was very happy, and job was finished, and the partner was sick and was actually dying of cancer. And I said, look, do you want me to stay here and help you run the business with your partner leaving? And he was just not able to fathom that. So he changed how his business was going to be run and just changed everything about how his business was really going to be run, and took a real, took a back seat, took a revenue cut, didn't want to be involved in staff, didn't want to be involved in the type of business decisions that he needed to, and was willing to have a smaller type of company, which was fine for him for a while until he realized that, you know, the money that he was making was based on revenue, and the revenue that he was making was based on having systems and infrastructure and staff. And in order to do that, he needed to have organization and he needed to have people. So he floundered around for a bit thinking that the solution was marketing. And he kept going to various types of marketing agencies, which were giving him, I would say, 10 hours a week, really good service, maybe 10 hours a month in terms of actual hands on business advice. And by that, I also mean content development, lead generation, sales intake, sales funnel, everything having to do with business and sales as well as marketing. So sales and marketing kind of go together. And if you're not looking at it that way, you're missing the big part of the puzzle, because the puzzle is marketing is an expense. Sales pays for marketing. So if you don't have sales going on, you're not going to have marketing. Anyway, so coming back into the picture, I started to explain that this was really the reality of it. And it was just tough for him to kind of get that idea of looking at the business rather than looking at the bank account. I moved him over to a couple of other consultants to try to speak to him and get it organized for him in his mind. It's just not an easy switch to flip. Okay, so when I talk to business owners, it's out of a great deal of respect. I know what it takes to go through that process. And more than that, I understand that there are some things out here that are just not easily understood based on what your core business is. So what my role is, what my desire is in this official chamber as managed media services and marketing, what I'm trying to do is to make sure that as a business owner, you have knowledge of the information that you need. You have an understanding of the information that you need, and you have a very good feel for where to get those resources, which ones are a priority, and how to add them into your business. All right. So for one business, it might be more traffic is necessary. For another business, it might be we have the traffic, but we don't have the conversions. Another company, it might be we need to advertise more. For another company, it might be we don't understand what's going on with search. Another company might need video. Another person might need blog posting. Another person might need social media marketing. And somebody may need all of that, but not know where to start. Okay? So, what I'm hoping to do in a part of Official Chamber is to give you a place to go where you can see these resources, see how they fit together, and then learn enough about them so that you can make a decision whether this is something you want to learn totally and do it for yourself, or whether you want it done for you, having knowledge of what it takes to do, the time commitment that it would cost you, the financial commitment it would cost you to learn it and do it well enough as a professional, and then whether or not if having it done for you means hiring an agency. And by an agency, I'm talking about there's advertising agencies and then there's marketing agencies. All right. And when I say a marketing agency, there's a hybrid uh, advertising marketing agency which will actually fit for you. But you have to do the search and ask the questions to know whether that agency is a good fit. When I say is that agency a good fit, you have to know whether or not you're going to need content. You're going to have to know how often that is. You're going to have to know how the content relates with social media. You're going to have to know how social media and your content development works with SEO. You're going to have to know how much content you have to produce on video. You're going to have to manage all of your sales channels, in other words, where you're getting your leads from, and manage internally the sales process of the conversion of the traffic to a lead to a sale, and have enough marketing intelligence. When I say marketing intelligence, I'm talking about data to explain to you what the actual path was, the journey of someone who knew nothing about you, became familiar with you, actually compared you to other competitors in the niche or category that you're in, made the evaluation and compared you on value as well as price, and made a commitment to contact you, learn enough about you to make a decision to say, I want a bid from you, I want a price from you, I want an appointment from you, I want to have a meeting with you, I want to know you better. All right. And that last part, know you better, may be an exchange of emails, it may be an exchange of phone numbers, it may be a Zoom call, it may be a physical meeting, it may be a demo. All right. But that journey, you have to know that journey for the different segments of the audience that's buying the different parts of the services or goods that you offer. All right. So that's really what I'm trying to do this week, and I hope to have it done by the end of the week. I'm going to use Mighty Networks. I was looking at a couple of other um, platforms that provide educational information. Um, I liked Mighty Networks because it's not only a membership, but the membership drives a sense of community. I'm going to use Facebook groups, and the only issue I have with Facebook groups is that not everyone uses Facebook and not everyone is comfortable putting things about their business on Facebook. Um, at some point, I would like you to be able to have the choice of private meetings, one-on-one meetings, small group meetings, and so on and so forth. I'll facilitate some of them by actually giving you guys a topic, day and date, and a webinar on a very specific focused topic that you'll be able to come into. Those I hope to do fairly frequently. When I say fairly frequently, I'm saying every couple of days, at least once a week, okay? This is a daily call. This daily call is for me to start my day off and make sure that I'm in the right place to do what it is that I've needed to do, that I want to do, and make sure it gets done. So unless I'm up actually broadcasting to you and putting this out here, I don't really have the type of focus and energy that I need for the day in order to do what it is I need to do. So these first couple of ones, I know that there's not going to be a lot of people watching them. I know further on there may be more, but again, the content that will be here will be for you, and that'll be mostly the idea of what it is that I need to get for you. In other words, those resources. Again, I've just been disappointed in the idea of a chamber trying to function for businesses with a monthly meeting. I'm disappointed that that model, which has been around, I don't know when its original as a business association when it originated, but it just seems to have always been a get together, social, either lunch, coffee in the morning, or cocktails. Um, People are around each other, but the issue is that that community, those business people, after they give each other their business cards, and it's true of BNI meetings, after they give each other their business cards, they've basically done everything that they can do. They either the insurance agent is selling insurance to these other businesses or not. But at the end of the day, the insurance business owner has to leave the chamber meeting and find other customers to sell to. And I've always wondered why that group of business people don't share information and don't say, well, here's what I've done in order to get customers as a professional service. So, say an accountant. Now, the accountant can talk to someone who's parallel to them, um, maybe the person who's selling insurance, and say, if you have businesses that buy insurance from you, if they need an accountant, would you refer them to me or at least pass along my name? Now, that type of joint venture or strategic alliance is something that I talk about in the full range of things that businesses can do to get more customers without spending more in advertising. Okay, and those principles are, easily learned, easily understood, and easily executed. But most people, most businesses just don't know about them. The ones that do don't really talk about them. Now, in that type of a joint venture, I'll give you another example. I have a lawyer who's worked in foreclosure defense, um, and he made a relationship with a bankruptcy attorney. And what was important was that a lot of people who are in foreclosure entering bankruptcy, or people who are in bankruptcy, now have to deal with foreclosure. And the bankruptcy attorney is really great attorney, and the foreclosure attorney is really great attorney. But the consumer, the person selecting a lawyer, has to pick one or the other and make that initial call to them. Now, it's been said that a bankruptcy attorney just sells bankruptcy and tells you to execute a bankruptcy. And it's been said that a foreclosure attorney executes on loan modifications. Okay? Both really not true. In fact, I did an interview with these two lawyers, which I'll put in here that you guys can watch. Um, but what I learned in the interview with them is that they formed this bond, they formed this relationship on their own. And they were the type of guys that basically said, hey, I like the way you practice business. I like the way you do business. I'll work with you. So I'm not just saying, join in with any guy or any person, and it may not even be a person in your local chamber, but in your field, around your field, who are the people that are compatible with you, who think like you, who believe the same things that you do. And I would encourage you to look for the synergies of joint ventures and look for the synergies of strategic alliances that enable you to share your customers and clients in a way that is a non-referral um, paid solution. So by that I mean, you know, if you're a dentist and you have to refer someone to say get a root canal, that is a crazy example. I know, and not everybody likes those kinds of examples, but you know that referral could be in plan, in network, out of network. But at some point, you're basically saying, look, professionally, I recommend this peer, this specialist who just does this one thing. see them, get this taken care of, and then I'll do the rest of the work. Similarly, I mean, you can think of 1,000 examples. I know that, let's say you're having some work done on your house, okay, and you might have had a person come in to do some plumbing, and because the plumbing is something that required some damage to the walls or might have had floor or whatever changed, that plumber is going to basically say, look, I know a carpenter, someone who can come in and do flooring or tiling or fix your wall. It's a good person, they're reliable, and I know that they're not going to rip you off, that they're fair. All right. Um, Similarly, a carpenter could come in and having um, done the repair and looked around, might have said something like, I noticed as I was coming in that your wall needs to be repaired, or your driveway, or your roof, or your windows, or your house may need paint, or you may need a landscaper. I can recommend some people to you, again, that are fair, that I know, that I work with. It could be an appliance repair. It could be carpet installation. All right, that's just the house. So imagine if you have something having to do with your car, or imagine you have something having to do with health. Talked about dentists. Also, it could be medical. I want to refer you to someone. Um, it could be a therapist. It could be medicinal marijuana. It could be some kind of orthopedist. It could be a podiatrist. Um, those examples in the medical field have to do with insurance sometimes. But again, if you need a therapist and you have no idea who to pick, it's helpful for someone to say, I know you're a patient of mine, and I like to make sure you get the proper treatment. Um, Another example is, again, with business, which is where we started, and a profession. So as a marketer, what I'm trying to do is to bring that accountant, that lawyer, that web developer, that social media marketer, that person who does video, all right? I'm trying to bring those people into the conversation with you so that you can ask them questions. Say, what do I need? How can you help me? Can you give me an example? Can you explain it to me? I don't understand. Okay? All right. So I hope you had a kind of a better sense of why I'm here and what I'm doing. And like I said, I'll be putting Mighty Networks in here for you today. So that's it for me. I'm going to say have a great Monday again. Thanks for listening, and be well.